This is section 4.3, day 2, writing rules for linear functions. Our objective today is to write function rules from words, tables, and graphs. Let's jump right in. Our first example is we're going to graph the line that passes through the points, and then we're going to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So let's start by graphing our points. 1, 8 is right about here, and -2, -1 is right down here. Now when we draw our line, we need to be extremely careful. So let's start by finding our slope. 8 to -1 is a -9. 1 to -2 is a -3. So my slope is -9 over -3, which is actually 3. So I go up 3, right 1. So I'm going to be very particular on my graph, and I'm actually going to do my slope between the points. There's a point there, a point there, oops, my first point was in the wrong spot. Should have been there, sorry. Now I can draw my line. And because I made my line so precise, I can see that my y-intercept is right here. It is at 0, 5. So my equation is going to be y equals my slope, which was 3, x plus my y-intercept I just found on my graph, which was 5. There's my equation. Let's try -4, -1, and 2, 2. For -4, -1, it's right here, and 2, 2 is right here. Let's find our slope again. -1 to 2 is a +3. -4 to 2 is a +6. My slope is 3 over 6, or 1/2. So let's make points in between these two. Up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, and look, I just found my y-intercept. So I draw my graph. I can see that my y-intercept is right here at 0, 1. So my equation is y equals 1/2 x plus 1. So that's how we find an equation from 2 points with graphing. We can also do this without graphing. We're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form for the line with this slope that contains the point. So we know that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we're going to plug in what we know first. Our slope is 1. So we're going to do y equals 1x plus b. Remember, we don't have to write the 1 because it's implied. Now we're going to take this point and we're going to plug that in for x and y. So we've got 3 equals -2 plus b. Now we're going to solve for b. We add 2 to both sides. We get 5 equals b. So our equation is going to be y equals 1x plus this b I just found, which is 5. So there is our equation. Let's try the second one. Our slope is -3, so I do y equals -3x plus b. Now I'm going to plug in these numbers for x and y. Y is 6 equals -3 times -1 plus b. So 6 equals 3 plus b. Subtract 3 off of each side, I get 3 equals b. So my equation will be y equals, my slope was still -3, x plus, my b is 3. There's my function rule. So now we're going to take this one step further and we're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form that passes through points, these 2 points. Let's zoom this in a little bit more. So the first step for these problems is to find the slope. -5 to 4 is a +9. 0 to 3 is a +3. So my slope is 9 over 3, or just 3. So now I can make that base equation, y equals 3x plus b. This is the point when I would tell you to plug in one of the points. You've got 2 though. You get to pick. If there's ever a 0, something, I would always pick that one. So -5 equals 3 times 0 plus b. You'll notice 0, a number is your y-intercept, so we actually probably didn't have to do all this work. So we get -5 equals 0 plus b, so -5 equals b. My function rule then is y equals 3x, either plus -5 or -5. Let's look at the second one. 2, 4, and 1, negative 2. We're going to start by finding the slope. 4 to negative 2 is a minus 6. 2 to 1 is minus 1. So my slope is negative 6 over negative 1, or just 6. Now I plug this into my base function, y equals 6x plus b. Now you get to pick which point you use. I am going to use 2, 4. So I'm going to plug 2 in for x and 4 in for y. So 4 equals 6 times 2 plus b, which means 4 equals 12 plus b. Solve for b by subtracting 12 off of each side. Negative 8 equals b. And our last step is write our equation. Y equals, we already know my slope is 6x minus 8. Remember, you can also have 6x plus negative 8. All right, and let's look at this last one. 2, negative 2, and 4, 1. Oops, sorry, negative 4, 1. We start by finding our slope. Negative 2 to 1 is a plus 3. 2 to negative 4 is a minus 6. So my slope is 3 over negative 6, which simplifies to negative 1 over 2. My starter equation is y equals negative 1/2 x plus b. Now you get to pick which point you're going to plug in. I am going to plug in negative 4, 1. So 1 is y, and x is negative 4 plus b. Negative 1/2 times negative 4 is positive 2. Subtract 2 off of both sides, I get negative 1 equals b. So my final equation is y equals negative 1/2 x minus 1, or plus negative 1. I do want to quickly show you that it doesn't matter which point I had chosen. So if I had chosen to plug in 2, negative 2, I would do negative 2 equals negative 1/2 times 2 plus b, which would be negative 2 equals negative 1 plus b. I would add 1 to both sides, and I would get negative 1 equals b. You should get the same thing no matter which point you use, so it does not matter which one you choose. All right, you are going to try these 3 on your own. All right, let's do the first one. Go page width again. 4, 3, and 8, negative 8, 0. Let's start with our slope. 3 to 0 is a minus 3. 4 to negative 8 is a minus 12. That means my slope is negative 3 over negative 12, or 1/4. Then I take my function y equals 1/4 x plus b. I plug in one of those 2 points. I'm going to plug in negative 8, 0. That would be 0 equals 1/4 times negative 8 plus b. Well, 1/4 times negative 8 is negative 2. Add 2 to both sides, and b equals 2. That means my equation is y equals 1/4 x plus 2. All right, for the second one, negative 2 to 2 is a plus 4. 9 to negative 3 is a minus 12. So my slope is 4 over negative 12, or negative 1/3. Let's do this one right in this little gap here. So we should have y equals negative 1/3 x plus b. Let's use the points negative 3, 2. So 2 equals negative 1/3 times negative 3 plus b. So 2 equals 1 plus b. Subtract 1 off of both sides. 1 equals b. So my final function rule is y equals negative 1/3 x plus 1. And for this last one, let's find our slope to start. Negative 3 to 2 is a plus 5. Sorry, that's a positive 5. Negative 3 to 7 is a plus 10. So my slope is 5 over 10, which is 1/2. Y equals 1/2 x plus b is my starter equation. Now I can use either point. I'm going to use negative 3, negative 3. So negative 3 equals 1/2 times negative 3 plus b. Need a little more space here. Well, 1/2 times negative 3 is negative 3/2. So I add 3/2 to both sides. Remember, negative 3 is negative 6 over 2. So I end up with 3 over 2, or 1.5, equals b. my function is y equals 1/2 x plus 3 over 2, or plus 1.5. It is okay to have, oops, I'm sorry, there should be a negative there. Should be a minus 3 over 2. Sorry, I had negative 6 over 2 plus 3 over 2. So it is okay to have a non-whole number y-intercept. That just means that if I were to graph it, I wouldn't be able to use the y-intercept really to graph it nicely. Here is your assignment.